Deep inside the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone lie forgotten places too terrifying for even the most intrepid explorers to enter. Here, in this vast, irradiated wilderness, the silence is broken only by the whisper of the wind through decaying structures, and the unseen rustle of wildlife that has, against all odds, adapted to this hostile world. It is a landscape frozen in time, a stark monument to a catastrophe that shook the world to its core. The Chernobyl disaster of April 1986 was not merely an industrial accident. It was an event that ripped a hole in the fabric of ordinary life, leaving behind a legacy of fear, mystery, and an eerie, haunted beauty. The city of Pripyat, once a vibrant hub of Soviet life, now stands as a ghost town, its buildings slowly surrendering to the relentless advance of nature. But beyond the familiar images of abandoned amusement parks and empty apartment blocks, lie zones of even greater peril and profound unease. In this journey we shall venture with the utmost caution into the very heart of this desolation. We will explore 5 of Chernobyl's most unsettling and dangerous locations, places where the veil between the past and present is disturbingly thin, and where the echoes of tragedy still resonate with a chilling clarity. These are the no-go zones, the places where the invisible threat of radiation is matched only by the palpable sense of dread. Our first destination is a place that bears a name as ominous as its appearance: the Red Forest. In the immediate aftermath of the reactor explosion, this vast pine forest, situated directly in the path of the most intense radioactive fallout, absorbed such catastrophic doses of radiation that the trees, in their death throes, turned a ghastly ginger brown, almost crimson. It was a stark, visual testament to the invisible poison that had saturated the land, a silent, arboreal scream. The original Red Forest was so heavily contaminated that the trees themselves became sources of intense radiation. In the heroic and desperate efforts to contain the disaster's spread, the entire forest was bulldozed and buried in deep trenches, a desperate act to inter a radioactive monster. Yet even today the soil beneath remains dangerously active, a hidden reservoir of isotopes that will persist for centuries, a constant unseen threat. New growth has since emerged, a testament to nature's resilience. Young birch and pine now strive towards the sky, yet this is no ordinary woodland. The air here feels heavy, unnaturally still. The usual chorus of birdsong that one might expect in such a verdant albeit young forest is strangely muted, almost absent. It is a silence that speaks volumes, a quietude born not of peace but of an enduring, invisible peril that permeates every leaf, every grain of soil. The radiation levels in certain pockets of the Red Forest, particularly near the buried remains of its predecessor, can still spike to alarming highs. To linger here without protection is to invite unseen damage, to gamble with the very essence of one's cells. It is a place where the unseen is far more dangerous than the seen, where the beauty of the regrown trees belies the potent danger lurking just beneath the surface and within the very fabric of the ecosystem. Stories, whispered among the few who venture near, speak of unusual wildlife. While widespread dramatic mutations are more the stuff of fiction, the chronic exposure to radiation undoubtedly exerts a subtle, persistent pressure on the local fauna. The Red Forest stands as a perpetual crimson-tinged warning, a somber monument to an invisible enemy that still holds sway over this land. Our journey now takes us into the decaying heart of Pripyat, to a place that once symbolized healing and care, the Pripyat Hospital. From the outside, it shares the same desolate, crumbling facade as the surrounding apartment blocks and civic buildings. But within its walls, and particularly in its deepest recesses, lies a concentration of sorrow and radiological hazard that is profoundly disturbing. The hospital played a critical role in the immediate aftermath of the explosion. It was here that the first victims, the heroic firefighters and plant workers who battled the inferno at reactor number 4, were brought, unknowingly carrying with them lethal doses of radiation. Their contaminated clothing, saturated with radioactive dust and particles, was hastily discarded, much of it ending up in the hospital's basement. This subterranean level has since become one of the most dangerously radioactive locations in all of Pripyat, a forbidden zone within a forbidden zone. The discarded uniforms of the first responders, their boots, their helmets, lie piled in dark corners, still emitting levels of radiation so high that even brief exposure can be hazardous. These are not mere objects, they are relics of unimaginable bravery and tragic sacrifice. Venturing into these lower levels, even with protective gear, is an act fraught with peril. The air is thick with the smell of damp decay, mold, and something else, an almost metallic tang that seems to speak of the invisible contaminants. Light struggles to penetrate the gloom, casting long, eerie shadows that dance and writhe with every movement, playing tricks on the eye. Abandoned medical equipment litters the corridors and rooms. Overturned gurneys, shattered vials, rusted surgical tools, and decaying patient records scattered like fallen leaves. Each item tells a silent story of chaos and desperation, of a place overwhelmed by a crisis beyond comprehension. The sense of human suffering is almost palpable, imprinted on the very walls. There are reports from the few urban explorers who have dared to brave these depths of unsettling phenomena. Whispers of ghostly apparitions, fleeting glimpses of figures in the peripheral vision, the sound of disembodied footsteps echoing in the empty halls. The Pripyat hospital basement is a chilling testament to the disaster's immediate, horrific impact. Chapter 3. The Jupiter Factory, Whispers in the Shadows. We now move to the outskirts of Pripyat, to a sprawling industrial complex known as the Jupiter Factory. Officially, it produced cassette recorders and household electronics. However, its sheer size, its robust construction, and the persistent rumors surrounding its true purpose suggest a far more clandestine role, perhaps linked to military applications or secret research for the Soviet regime. Today, the Jupiter Factory stands as a colossal wreck, its vast workshops and laboratories slowly succumbing to the elements. Windows are shattered, roofs have collapsed in places, and machinery rusts in silent testimony to an abruptly halted industrial might. The scale of the place is overwhelming. A labyrinth of decaying concrete and twisted metal, stretching out into the encroaching wilderness. What makes the Jupiter Factory particularly unsettling is not just its derelict state or its mysterious past, but the persistent legends of strange occurrences within its shadowed halls, especially after nightfall. Those who have illicitly explored its depths speak of inexplicable noises, the distant clang of metal when no one else is present, the faint hum of machinery long dead, or whispers that seem to emanate from the very walls. Shadows too are said to play tricks on the eyes here, more so than in other abandoned structures. Fleeting movements in the periphery, darker shapes detaching themselves from the gloom, the unsettling feeling of being watched by unseen observers. The factory's basements and sublevels are particularly notorious. Dark, flooded in places, and filled with unidentifiable debris, they are a fertile ground for unease. The sheer emptiness of such a vast complex designed to hum with activity and the noise of hundreds of workers is in itself profoundly disconcerting. The Jupiter Factory is a uniquely unsettling location within the exclusion zone. Chapter 4. Kindergarten Kapachi, The Innocence Lost. One of the most emotionally resonant sites in the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone is the abandoned kindergarten in Kapachi. The village was so contaminated it was mostly buried, leaving the kindergarten as one of its few standing structures. Inside, tiny beds are still arranged in rows, small shoes scattered on the floor. Dolls with vacant eyes lie everywhere, some missing limbs, their clothing tattered. The silence amplifies the sense of loss and tragedy, broken only by the wind through broken windows. The juxtaposition of childhood items with the reality of nuclear disaster is deeply unsettling. Chapter 5. Reactor Control Room Number 4, Ground Zero of Catastrophe. Our final and perhaps most chilling destination takes us to the very epicenter of the Chernobyl disaster, the control room of Reactor Number 4. This room is haunted by the weight of history, the memory of catastrophic failure, and the lingering, invisible threat of radiation. On April 26, 1986, ill-fated decisions led to the reactor's explosion, releasing radioactive material. Standing here is to be at ground zero of one of humanity's worst technological disasters. The atmosphere is heavy with the profound significance of the events that transpired here. The consoles bear silent testimony to that night's frantic, doomed efforts. Even after decades, radiation levels can still be significantly elevated in certain areas. Access is strictly controlled, requiring protective clothing and dosimeters. The control panels are a frozen tableau of disaster. One can almost imagine the blinking lights, the rising panic, the dawning realization of the catastrophe unfolding. The silence now is a stark contrast to the alarms and shouts that must have filled this room in its final moments of operation. The psychological impact of being in this space is immense. It is a place where human error and technological vulnerability converged with devastating consequences. Every dial, every switch seems to cry out with the story of that night, a silent accusation and a somber warning to future generations. The control room is more than just an abandoned space, it is a historical artifact of immense, tragic importance. As we draw our exploration of Chernobyl's most unsettling no-go zones to a close, one cannot help but be struck by the relentless, quiet power of nature. In the absence of humanity, the forests are slowly encroaching. Wildlife roams the empty streets of Pripyat, and the concrete structures once symbols of Soviet ambition are gradually crumbling, being reclaimed by the earth from which they were built. It is a stark, and in some ways, beautiful testament to nature's enduring ability to heal, even in the face of such profound devastation. Yet, the invisible scars remain. The radiation, though diminished in many areas, still saturates the soil, the water, and the very fabric of this land, a silent, persistent legacy of that catastrophic April night. The eerie silence of these abandoned places, the poignant relics of lives interrupted, and the knowledge of the unseen dangers create an atmosphere unlike any other on Earth. These zones are a chilling reminder of our own fragility and the long-lasting consequences of our actions. The question lingers, hanging heavy in the irradiated air: would you dare to step into any of these places? To confront the ghosts of the Red Forest, the sorrow of the Pripyat hospital basement, the mysteries of the Jupiter factory, the lost innocence of the kindergartens, or the historical weight of reactor control room number 4? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this journey into the heart of the exclusion zone compelling, please give this video a like, and perhaps we shall delve into the secrets of haunted Soviet bunkers in a future exploration.